Good morning, everyone. It's Joker, and today we are back with another slime video. And it is time to take on the second batch of Tempered Edge stages. This will be the World Tour Part 3, technically, for the Primal Demon team. So we're going to take on the Space stage, the Earth, the Dark, and then the Fire stage. The fire stage might give us a little bit of difficulty because we don't have a burn unit, but hopefully we can just out damage it. It's kind of depending on how our first setup is going to go. But, we do have two space characters, so versus an earth enemy, that's going to be difficult. But this stage is an AoE, and they want us to use space, so I think we're going to be okay here. So let's just go ahead and jump in. Again, the same team as we used for the previous couple times. I might swap Diablo and Jean just for, because we're going to try and nuke with Diablo more first and foremost. But let's go ahead and jump in. Alright, we got lucky. First turn, we can use the Guy Orb change. We do get locked in for 2 turns, so we're going to have to bring Diablo in for... I'm going to say Guy, and then we'll bring Jean in for Blanc. We'll use all 3 of these skills, that way we can maximize our protection gauge and our ult gauge gain. The priority is to nuke with Diablo, though, because he is the AoE space unit. He's going to do the most damage out of anybody, and, it shouldn't be that difficult to do, because, again, these enemies, because it's an AoE, they don't have that much HP to deal with. I know we kind of banked on that last time, and it didn't really work out that well, but it's fine. Do we have enough points here? I don't know if we do to use both orb changes. Actually, we probably didn't need to use that ult swap, huh? Because we used Guy already. Okay, yeah, so not enough. So let's just use these 2 stacks, and then we'll try and play for next turn. I guess we'll send these Diablo orbs, and we should get enough points to use the double orb change out of that, so that'll work out. And it'll get us closer to his ult, if not get it his ult. Okay, it does. Alright, so 69 points we've got right here. Of course, we get just some weird-ass hand. Alright, I don't think I have enough? No, I don't have enough, because I used it already. Okay, well, that is kind of unfortunate. I don't really like this hand. We're just going to deal with it. The blues are damage nerfed, but not gauge nerfed, so we're still getting, good amount of protection gauge. That's what I wanted to see right there. That's what I need. So instant damage, a little bit of a heal from Lumi. It's okay. Now we have enough points to alt swap and orb change, so now we're looking pretty good. Let's go ahead and bring Jean back in, or Blanc. I'm still doing that, sorry. And just maximize our gauge again. And the ult damage. The pierce power and stuff, isn't going to Diablo, though. But the ult damage and the gauge increase certainly is. So at least we're helpful there. And now we're hitting with 2 different space units. And we've got Misery's AoE, which it won't do super amounts of damage, but we are super weak point against everybody here. So that is nice. And, oh, that's a pretty good hand. Do I want to keep going? I can probably get Diablo's ult here, or his EX ult. Let's go ahead and get his EX ult. He's not going to be a primary focus DPS character after this stage, so we'll make the most out of it. So hopefully this hits Misery. Okay, it didn't hit Misery. Actually, no, it's fine. We wanted to hit Diablo. What am I talking about? Let's bring Guy in, and then we can use probably his orb change because it's cheaper. Oh, it's the same thing. Well, it doesn't matter then. So gauge, more ult damage. This should get Diablo's EX ult here, and then we'll be ready just to nuke these poor little people out of existence. Yeah, alright. 251 points. Just enough to use 3 big-time buffs, so we'll use the Guy, Diablo, and Jean buffs, the weakness, strike, and element resistance. A pretty weak skill at the end of the day, unfortunately. She is, as a lot of people have defined her, a walking battery more than anything else, which is just kind of unfortunate, but it is also true to an extent. Yeah, okay, so let's bring you in. We'll get 1 more stack on. Not that we really need it. We're going to do like 2 million damage here, something like that. unnecessary amounts of damage. So boom, 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 and then the Diablo ult. No, not that. Will just completely wipe. Yeah, we do 1,000,000 damage, and they only have like 200k maybe. So there we go. There's the space stage taken out. Let's move on. Alright, we've moved into the Earth stage, and we do have 2 characters who are Earth, so thank God for that. And then we have a couple space characters. So Jean is going to come in for Blanc after we use her 2 skills. We're not going to orb change at all because we have now entered the realm of set starting hands, and we are not a green-focused team, so we could go one of 2 ways. We could either send all the greens and get points, or we could just send the 2 oranges and then maybe bank on getting a Diablo hand next turn with 4 of this and praying that we get another blue or a green. The odds of that are high, but also low at the same time. Let's go ahead and send the greens just to try it out and see what kind of luck we get. Alright, so I left Misery up front. That's not really that good of a thing. Okay, that works out. We left her up front for a reason. Blues are not nerfed in this stage. Oranges are. The problem is that they do hit very, very hard. And that's not something I'm really prepared to deal with. Because this is meant for a defense-focused team. This stage is built for Earth 2.0. Very much defensive-focused. And we are not defensively focused. We are offensively stacking focused. And we're meant to clear this stage in 8 turns, or use this team for 8 turns, and we are not going to live 8 turns traditionally with this team. So let's go ahead and just keep on hitting Leon. The good thing is that they don't have a lot of HP, and we do have 2 Earth characters who are very strong. Single targets, but still, as long as we can get something rolling, we're going to be okay. Alright, but yeah, like, Blanc type neutral took a third of her HP, quarter of her HP on that one ult, and he's going to do it like 3 more times. That's not what we're really looking for. So if you're a new player, this stage will give you problems. Will, not can, will. So let's get you out of here. Let's use your convert and then Guy's convert. And then we'll take Misery out, because I don't need her getting nuked any more than she has to. And as the faster we can get ults for these 2, the better. Which we almost. If I had used that skill one more time, we would have probably got it. All right. Well, maybe we can at least take out Leon here, just with Jean by herself, and then that just leaves Velzard, who is not very difficult to deal with. Okay. Yeah, I think we'll be okay out of here. Frostbite will chip our health. Yeah. And then he's gonna follow up a little bit. No. All right. So we're good. So Jean is going to go ahead and... well, do we even need to nuke him? We can probably send it on Velzard. Depending... How many points do we have? We have 189. They have physical resistance. Okay, yeah, I think we can do this. So let's do... man. How much health do you have? You don't have that much left. 57k? No, okay, you're going to die. So let's do the physical buff. Let's do the ult and the guaranteed crit. And then we'll bring Blanc in to give us a little bit extra ult damage just for funsy onesies now. Boom. And then hopefully we can kill Velzard with the ult, and then the follow-ups will take out Leon. I don't know if that'll work, but he doesn't have an ult coming, so that's fine. 314, you're good. Goodbye. Alright, we're not going to kill here. And not even really that close either. Ooh! Okay, yeah, that's our first loss. That Frostbite did a lot of damage. Wow. I feel like she had a lot of health left. I feel like she shouldn't have died. That was weird. Okay, well, I mean, Leon's dead here anyways. 57k. I want to check her age. How much did that Frostbite do? Hold on. All right, it did almost 4,000 damage, and she got hit twice by Leon. So I mean okay. So she died. Oh well. I mean, maybe you get unlucky. I kind of expected someone to die here. If he had hit like Blanc once, she would have lived. But, oh well, it is what it is. Let's move on. Alright, on to the next stage against Gazel. Meant to use a dark team here. We don't have any dark units, but what we do have is a perfect starting hand for Diablo. So you're meant to run a green team, and you're supposed to use Isis to change these, but, you know, we can just do a Diablo's orb change, and we got a full hand of blues. And the blues in this stage don't get nerfed until, like, turn 4 or 5 or something like that, so there's not too much to worry about right now. And we've put Blanc back in the back so she could be our primary DPS character, single target. You know, we're going to be type neutral regardless using anyone on this team, and she is obviously the single target nuker. And Gazel's, is not that difficult to deal with. He does have some resistance and some defense. He does nerf us a little bit on turn 4 or 5, one of those two. It's not going to be that big of a deal, especially if it wants to give me hands like this, because we'll be looking pretty good. I should have used Blanc's skills also. I keep forgetting that they're free, so it could have helped us out a little bit last turn with more, more ult gauge maybe, but I still think we'll be fine, because we're going to be looking pretty good after this. We might even have her ult. Okay, not quite, but very close. We're capped at 150, so we can use both orb changes next turn if we need to. I just want to make the most of our blue orbs before they get nerfed and get as many stacks as possible. Okay. Okay, we can deal with this. We can use Misery and Guy, and we'll be able to convert everything here. So let's bring Misery in for Diablo. Yeah, and let's use her orb change. Boom. He does have crit and pierce resistance, which we were ideally going to do both. That will drop off on turn 8, so I do want to wait to turn 8 to actually use that. So it's going to mean that we're going to be up here for a while, and we got to remember that we are going to get nerfed somewhere in here as well, which isn't that big of a deal considering that we're going to be stacking up so much with Blanc that it's not going to matter. But it does mean that we have to leave her up front if she does get nerfed, in order to watch that nerf fall off on turn 8, which, yeah, it can, might not help us, might help us. Alright, taking some damage there. So, okay, now we got to use some orb changes. Let's get 2 more stacks on. I think this is where we get nerfed, finally, in the next part, or after this turn is over, going into turn 5. And how much health do you actually have total? 257? I don't think we need an EX ult, but we'll do it anyways. So let's use Guy's orb change. Boom. We'll bring Misery in for Guy. We'll use the alt swap, and then we'll use her orb change, and we'll continue to stack up with Blanc now. Let's do one of those and one of those. So we're getting more ult gauge, more ult damage, more pierce power, so when we do eventually nuke, we're going to be looking real nice. This is almost the EX ult, plus we have an ult for Jean now, which is cool, I guess. Not really that important, unless I want to nuke early, which I certainly could, without using any of the big-time buffs. So yeah, there's the seal right there. So we're sealed on attack, crit, and pierce. So this attack up that we've got right here does not matter anymore. These traits right here don't matter, so we definitely don't want to nuke while this is active now, because we're going to do so much less damage. Let's go ahead and swap, and then we can just use Guy's orb change. Yeah, looks like the way to go. This will get the EX ult for Blanc as well, so that's pretty nice. I think next turn we'll just take Jean out of here, because she's not going to do much, plus her trait will come in on turn 6, so that'll maximize what we have going. Yeah, for the most part. But now the blues are actually nerfed here, so 80% damage down and 80% gauge down, which is why we're not getting that much here. That's why I wanted to maximize what we got for the first 4 turns on the blues before that came in, because now we're doing, peanuts. So, alright. But we're also, on the plus side, not really taking any damage either. So let's put another stack on. We got a lot of gauge there because we have Guy, Blanc, and Jean and her support all coming in on turn 6. So that's very nice. We'll get you out of here now. Boom. And we just have to swap one alt. And what's gonna be cheaper? So the orange and the green, huh? 65 and 70, yeah. All right, so let's do that. And then instead of using instead of using Guy, we'll use Diablo's Orb Change to handle that one green orb right there. Because they're nerfed, I want to at least keep on sending a whole bunch of blues to maximize the amount of points that we're getting more than anything. So we will definitely have enough to nuke. And honestly, we can probably just skip this next turn on turn 7 and just wait for the debuff to fall off. Oh, yeah, sure, that works too. Yeah, whatever works. I don't want to use this quite yet. Let's just send those orbs. We've got 397 to use now. All of his defense is leaving. Our nerf is leaving now. And we've got a pretty good hand. So now we are free to nuke at full power. The attack nerf is gone. His defense is gone. The crit defense and pierce defense are gone. So boom, physical attack and guaranteed pierce. We'll get Guy in here, alt damage and guaranteed crit, and then we'll get Jean in here. Not that she's really doing much with her first skill. It's just lowering the space resistance essentially, which I mean I guess is cool, but not really necessary. We will go ahead and use her reset and her extra points though, and now we can just use a whole bunch of Blanc buffs and just majorly overkill because we have so many points to use here. Alright. This is dumb. You don't have to do this. We would have wiped with like 2 of those buffs probably, but I like to do big mommy damage with Blanc. And if I have the capability to do so, you bet your sweet ass I am. So we can use a couple stacks of the attack buff as well. Probably like 3 of them. So 1, 2, yeah, 3. There we go. So what is she looking like now? 180% ult damage, 206% attack, 150% pierce power. Yeah, let's get you out of here. 2.5 million. All right, yeah, unnecessary but funny. So now let's go on to the fire stage, which may give us some troubles. It may not, though. Who knows? We're gonna find out. Okay, I had to change the team up a bit because this was actually impossible to do using the full Primal Demon team. So the thing is that if you don't place the burn effect on Clayman on turn 2, he's going to bind your front 3 units in for 6 turns and poison them. And he hits hard. And he hits AoEs, which means everybody gets hit. So that, coupled with the poison, means that pretty much your front line is dead. And then your backline would have had 2 space units, being Diablo and Blanc, who have no stacks because they haven't been able to be brought up front at all. So we took Blanc out. She wasn't doing much for the team anyway. She was type disadvantage, and we put in free-to-play hero who is, accessible for all players if they have the flashback crystals. It's not like he's time gated or something behind another beatdown battle that's going to come back in a year or something. So he is free to play, and we were able to get it done with this team. It wasn't perfect. It wasn't pretty, but it was doable. So let's just fast forward. And on turn 1, he puts a crit nerf on your entire front line. So we want Guy and Jean out of here because they're going to be our primary DPS characters, being single targets and type neutral. So we brought Hero in. We're going to send the 4 greens. We're going to pray for a good hand on turn 2 because we have to have enough points to use the burn and everything. And this was not it, so I think I reset. Yeah, there we go. Okay, so we came back 4 more greens, and I think this run got it after the counter. Okay, there you go. So we have 59 points. We only have to use the Misery Orb Change here, and we need to apply the burn. So that's on. It only asks for 1 turn, but it only needs to be for 1 turn. And then we'll bring both Guy and Jean in so we can start stacking up with them being our 2 single target nukers. And we can have a full hand of Primal Demon, which means that the Misery Orb Change will actually work. Blue orbs get nerfed on going into turn 5. So we have to really make the most out of blues, again, for the first couple of turns, just like the previous Dark stage, because we're not going to get much out of them after that. So for this battle, I put the alt gauge on blue charm on instead of protection gauge because I need alts more than I need protection gauge in this fight, especially since we're going to get nerfed anyways. We just need to make the most of it. We need to get at least 2 single target alts, maybe not EXs, but 2 single targets would be preferable for both normal alts for Guy and Jean. So we'll orb change here, orb change here. Diablo, I don't want to leave up front, but we're going to have to, because I can't let Hero take too much damage either. And then, so here, more blues, more gauge, that's awesome. Turn 4, Jean's got turn 2 gauge, and so does Mariah underneath her. But you see how much damage Diablo took off one hit. And if we were to be binded in, like, that's what we would be taking pretty much the entire time. And then we'd be locked in for a single target alt, and things would just not be very fun. So now Diablo comes out, we'll bring Misery back in, and then we'll use her orb change, and we'll get her a stack as well in the off chance that we need her AoE alt for just more damage, which I think we do at the end of this fight. But here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Now we have 2 single target alts. So now we're looking pretty good, but I want more stuff. But at the same time, blue gauges here are going to get nerfed, right? So, I mean, depending on how many points you have, how strong your units are, you could probably nuke right here. He has about 550k HP right now. And as long as you can get, the physical buff, the alt buff, the resistance down, and 2 single targets, you might have been able to nuke here, and we would have been okay. But I decided to push my luck a little bit just to get some guaranteed stuff, even though the blues are not going to get us a lot now. I was going to feel more comfortable with an EX alt from one of them more than anything. We're going to bring Hero in for Misery, because I don't want my primary orange orb changer to die. So hopefully he nukes Hero, or rather than the other 2 units, because he will be able to take it better because he's fire, and 2, he's less important now. And unfortunately, it's not what happens. And then the follow-up, and Guy lives by a literal nut tap of HP. So now he can't be on the front line anymore. We're not going to get any more alt gauge for him. So we're going to leave Jean up front, and we're actually going to have quite a bit of orbs for her, right here. So we can swap Guy out. That'll bring another blue Jean orb, and we can just bring Misery in for Guy and use the alt swap and call it a day. And then this gets her very, very close to an EX, because remember, the blues are nerfed, so we're not getting nearly as much gauge from it, and there's nothing we can do about it. We maybe could have sent the orbs to Jean with Hero first and then converted them to blue. Maybe something, but we have a little bit of unfortunate stuff coming up. So, AoE hit, alright, fine, whatever. And, we got a good hand, right? So we'll just alt swap again, and then Misery orb change. I could have, again, used those orbs to send it to Jean, but we're going to get her EX alt with these 3 right here. There you go. I want to save that stack of Violet for Guy on the nuke turn for turn 8, just so we have it and give him a little bit extra power. And now that we have an EX alt, we have an alt for Misery as well. Cheeky counter right there. That's a lot of damage. And then Jean took a counter, which means that this next AoE attack is death for her, which is really, really unfortunate. Boom. There we go. So Guy comes in, but we did get the EX alt for him, and now we're left with this. And what I probably should have done is I should have also given away the orbs to Guy with Hero, but oh well. I wasn't even sure when this popped up that we were actually going to kill, but we're going to try it. So we've used the crit, we've used the alt, we're going to use the physical buff and the pierce buff, and then we're also going to use one more orb change from Misery, because that'll put 5% more pierce resistance on him, and that just helps our damage. And then we'll use Diablo's orb change to give us a full hand, even though the blues are nerfed. So we'll send Misery first, we'll send the follow-up orbs, and Misery does 75k, not great. Thankfully, Guy does 444, which definitely, Misery did actually help us with that, right? So there we go. It's not pretty. You do need a specific skill to be able to do this stage. If I were to bring the full Primal Demon team, this straight up would not work at all. I tried. My teams can't do it. so your beginner teams also are not going to be able to do it. But that's the next set of Tempered Edge stages complete, which leaves just the final stage versus Veldora for the next video. But let me know what you guys think. That's it for me. Take it easy, and I will see you all later.